So, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining to our session. And I also welcome Leila Etaati. Thank you for accepting our invitation, Leila. I know that it's early morning in your country. I appreciate it really. So I'm going to start my presentation. At every time, I'm beginning with one of the beautiful scenes of our city of winds, Baku. This is Crystal Hall. Sorry. Sorry. I'm a little bit impast on YouTube. Okay, I'm muted there. So it's Crystal Hall, which has been built in 2012 for the Eurovision. It's located on coast of Caspian Sea, right? And today we have Leila Etaati from New Zealand, who is going to talk about artificial intelligence in Power BI desktop. And I think Leila will give the necessary information about herself and the topic. And we have our next speaker is Tatiana Ostman from Russia, who is going to talk about solving specific interesting problems in Power BI. It will take place on May 14th, 1221. So, thank you again for joining us. Enjoy the session. Leila, stage is yours. Here we go.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Let me share my screen. So, just okay. I think I'm screen 3, and then I'm going to share. Cool. Thank you. So, can you see my screen? Is all good?
Sure. Yes.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining my webinar about features that we have in, actually AI features that we have in Power BI Desktop. About me, so I'm Leila Etaati, based in Auckland, New Zealand, AI and data platform MVP. So actually, as you see, I started as a developer in about 2004 after graduation, and then I'm get interested into the SQL programming and also working with data. And that's actually with learning about BI. I'm interested in the BI, and then actually in doing my PhD, I'm interested to AI. So that's kind of the path that I have during these years, and it's kind of motivate me to write some books, blog posts, and also YouTube channel. Also, if you have any question, so just let me know. These days, I mainly work in Charticulator in Power BI. So if you heard about that, and also the AI feature, and of course, Power Query. So these are the area that I mainly focus. And so, yeah, welcome. If you have any question, ask me on RADACAD.com or follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn. And I'm really more than happy to be kind of involved if you have any question. Also, I will share everything that I have in the Power BI desktop. I've created everything, so I will share all of the files that I have. Today I'm going to kind of have a look on some of the features of the AI that we have from K-influencer visual. We will look at decomposition tree visual, narrative visual, see that how we can do the forecast, anomaly detection, and also a bit look at some text analytics and vision analytics. So these are the things that I'm going to have a very fast overview, so you see that how we can actually use them. Okay, so I use a free data set. That's kind of the Microsoft thing. Let me minimize my actually zoom over here. So this data is about the life expectancy. So first of all, we are going to kind of look at that one. So that's actually a data that we have about life expectancy in different countries, what factors impact on that. So I'm going to actually to show you that what is the important impact on that, and we are going to analyze using some AI features over here. So first of all, I think it's good idea that we look at the actually see that how GDP kind of impact on the life expectancy in different countries. So this is actually GDP by different continent that we have, and this chart is actually, as you can see here, it shows that the actually how's the GDP change over the year. But we are interested to see that how actually GDP impact on the life expectancy for each country. So as you can see here, as the kind of GDP goes up, the life expectancy also goes up. I really need in this chart, I'm really looking for a summary of this chart. So yes, as you see, I read this for you, but I really want to kind of have a summary of what is happening in these charts in somewhere. So through that, we have a smart narrative, actually very visual, that actually is available here. So if you couldn't see that, because I think it still is in preview, you need to go to the file, option and setting, and through the option, and just take a bit minute under the preview. So you should actually, yeah, so it's still on preview. So you need to actually make sure that you select that one, close and restart your Power BI desktop. And then after that, you can see that over there. So I'm going to actually, yes. Hello, any question?
No. Go on, Leila.
Oh, sure. Sorry. So it's actually, so this chart is going to extract the main information that we have here and showing at the as a line, as a kind of the narrative statement over here. So now is actually, as you can see here, when I enable that one, it's showing me that just a minute. Showing me that at, for example, in this GDP, Europe had the highest GDP per capita and higher than Africa. So this talking about GDP, and then actually, so it's going kind of to summarize the what is happened through here. So these are the kind of the region with the highest GDP per capita was Southern Europe. So it's very hard actually. So actually, I need to kind of click here to see what is the best kind of GDP over here. But this actually is going to show me the highlights of these charts over here. So to be honest, this narrative will not always work. It's just going to extract what is the most important thing showing over here. So it's going to find the highest or lowest events and phenomena that happen. So this is a kind of one of the new AI features that had been added here, and I think is really helpful because it's kind of most of the time we have lots of chart in our report, and we really want to see the kind of the highlight of them. So it's kind of provide a highlight of what is happening in your actually report, and I think can be really useful. So this is a kind of the newest one. I'm going to actually check that. So what factor will be actually impact on the GDP? Just a minute. I just have a paper because I forget which field I need to use. There are many fields here, so I kind of summary that the field that I'm going to use. So another one that actually is no more preview is actually created about a year ago, and the name is K-Influencer Visual. So many of you maybe heard about that. So I'm going to use that one over here. So K-Influencer Visual is actually using the combination of the regression analysis and decision tree to find what's impact on a specific phenomenon. So here we are going to actually analyze. So we are going to analyze the life expectancy. So I said life expectancy. So everything is located actually here, if I'm not wrong. So I'll just make sure. And actually, I need to provide some explain bar. So I want to see that which impact on life expectancy. So I said one of them is GDP per capita under the indicator. Yeah, that one based on US dollar. So that's the first one. The second one that I think can have impact is net national per capita. That's the second one. So that's the other one. And also I want to check that actually people using safely actually let me make it manage drink water. So that's another one that we have. Percentage of the female population that actually with no education. So that's another one. Safe drinking water. So there are kind of the different things that we can consider. I just put some of them. So another one is female pupils, actually, but minimum reading proficiency. So these are the factors that I think. So one thing that I should mention, this is kind of the regression analysis and kind of the cause and effect. So these are the variables that I think I'm going to check it. These are the variables that I think they can have impact on life expectancy. So this is really important that you have some knowledge of that area. So this is the something that I kind of check from the research. I'm not kind of expert in analyzing that. I just heard that this one can impact. So it's really important that you have some pre-knowledge that what will be impact through that. So as you can see here, now I can see that what is the most important actually to impact on the life expectancy. So you see that the key influencer tab at the top, we have the option to analyze life expectancy increase or decrease. So I'm going to check that what a factor can impact to life expectancy increase. So as you can see here, safe drinking water service is more than that. So it's actually impact about 14.26 on that. The next factor that can kind of impact again, after that, we can see the female pupils below minimum reading proficiency at the end of the primary. So that's the second one. There is a one thing in these charts. So you see that, so for example, safe drinking water service, if I check the data through there, so for example, if I search for this one, if you look at the data that I have, so some of them is actually already, they have the kind of the, what we can say, they have the beans, but still not all of them. For example, life expectancy doesn't have that one. So some of them already has the beans, but sometimes, for example, some of the data doesn't have the beans. So, but is going to kind of change it to the beans. For in this scenario, the data is already beans. So you can see a histogram over here. But for sometimes it's actually, if it couldn't find a relationship in actually as a scatter chart over here, is going to convert your data to the beans of data. So just make sure here, it's actually already our data is a beans data. So as you can see here, it's kind of showing you that this is a life expectancy and how it actually can impact. So this is the one you can analyze this with a decrease one to see what's kind of impact. So it's a bit different because they are not the equal analysis, but still you see that in both scenario, the safe drinking water services kind of have impact. Another tab that we have in a key influencer visual is top segment. So top segment is actually going to group the data and find a rules for that one. So for example, I said that the life expenses to be high. There are a couple of segments. I'm going to analyze the first segment. So first segment is the people that actually in them, the life expectancy is about 78 years old, and is actually kind of, they are the people that their JBT per capita is greater than this amount. So it's kind of give you an insight that these are the people that actually, if you want to look at the people whose life expectancy is 68, you see that their capita is less than or equal 0. Or for example, this one is less than or equal 3,000 something. So it's kind of provide you an insight that what is caused to that one, or which group you should consider. So again, I'm back to the first group. So these actually are a group of people that they consider about 9% of the population of the data that we have, and they are the people that actually their life expectancy is 78 and the GPT coming there. So if you want that, how these analyses come up, if you work with a decision tree has some, actually is like a tree, and each branch actually provide this information for us. Sometimes you will see that, for example, for your customer, you don't want to show them the top segment or influencer. So it's actually, you can manage that one. Let me a bit, I enable the zoom. So here, if you go to the format, there is a, you can enable or disable the key influencer tab or the segment tab. So both of them is actually going there. So yes, people, you can see here, but when you publish it to the service, they couldn't see that, which is actually, you can manage it. Also, as you can see here, we have analyst type. So in this scenario, it is just continuous, okay? Why? Because the life expectancy is actually a numeric value between 0 to 80 years old. But sometimes it actually is not about that. So in this data set, yes, I'm going to analyze a numeric value that is between 0 to 80. Sometimes you want to analyze a kind of a category, like for example, I want to see people purchase the silver or bronze or gold sponsorship. So that's become a categorical one. So here, because we have that, so it doesn't change. Another things that we have here is enable count. I just make it enable. So when I disable, you see that you couldn't see anything over here. But when I'm going and enable the count, is actually, you can see, you can sort your analysis by impact or sort by count. So what is matter? So by default is actually is sort by impact. That means that these are the variables that we think they have impact on life expectancy. But as you can see here, when I sorted by count, it's become a bit change. And you can see there is actually very light circle around each of them. You see that there is a kind of a border line through here. So what is that? So here is actually showing is that if I hover my mouse, let me see if it's showing that one. Come on. I try to see the kind of the tooltip through that, sometimes showing. So no worries if it doesn't show, I just explained that. So, oh yeah, it's showing now here. So this means that this circle, this border circle shows me that 90% of the data, 90.95% of the data, they are the attribute that the DTP per capita goes up to $12,000, and they impact on increasing life expectancy. So that means that some of the factors are important, but they are not impact on majority of the data. So for example, in the previous analysis, you see that actually the safe drinking water is really important. But if I hover my mouse and if you look at the borderline, you see that it's kind of apply on a small portion of the data. Yes, it has high correlation to them, but just a small piece of data. So to be honest, so maybe the GPD capital has less impact, but actually it has impact on kind of more parts of the data, which is much more, I think, is important, because we are going mostly, if you have a huge amount of the data, that's kind of is the best indicator. So this one is actually is going to impact based on the count. And of course, if you look at the impact, it's kind of the one of the first one. So that's a kind of really complete visual that we have in there actually here. Another visual that I'm going to show maybe here. So just let me a bit coming here. Let me see if I can show over here. Yep. So let me show another one over here that actually is a kind of the line chart to forecast the life expectancy. So to forecast, that's a really simple chart that everyone knows about. That is a line chart that we have over here. I'm going to kind of the year. I'm going to use the year for the axis over here. And also I'm going to use, I'm going to kind of predict the life expectancy again from the indicator one, and I put it over here. So I think it should be that one. Let me double check. I choose the correct one. Okay. So now, so this is a simple line chart that we have over here. Under the actually analytics tab, if you click on the, you have the option of the forecast over here. So I can actually kind of add the forecast. Here I want to forecast for the next, for example, 82 points of the data that I have, and I apply through that. So it's kind of able to shows me that, okay, in the next, for example, you see that this is year. So the data point that I have here is year. So it's saying that in the next, for example, 80 years, how's the change happen? So this is a very simple time series one. So this one is so simple over here. So I actually asked to calculate the 80 points of the data. If there is a seasonality on that data, is going to find it for myself. But again, I'm saying that is a very basic forecasting that we have over here. So this actually can be really helpful. Let me focus that one. So you can see that there is a kind of the border, there is a two gray area over here that actually showing the confidence level. So if I kind of decrease that one, you see that is actually, we are going to look at the kind of upper margin and lower margin. In the lower one, if I increase it to, for example, 99%, is going to consider the higher upper margin and lower margin. And if you look at here, so the forecast, for example, is 74, but it can go to the 84 or 63. So it's considered a high range of that one. Just back to the report. So this is the forecast. There is another one that recently is actually released that I think I couldn't apply to this data. I can try. I just show you that how it works, but maybe not in this data. I have another data set that actually we can look at that one. So the another one is anomaly detection. So after the forecast and the line chart that actually help us to predict what will be happen, we have another one that is find anomalies in the data. Again, this one using the time series anomaly to find the data point that they don't follow the expected behavior that we want. Okay, so you couldn't apply forecast and anomaly at the same time on a line chart. So I'm going to remove the forecast, and you can actually apply the anomaly through that. I'm saying that this data maybe not a really kind of the good one. I will show you the ones in the next chart that we have. Any questions? So I'm just stop to ask any question so far.
Leila, there is no question, so you may go on.
Yes, please. Yep, we can ask it now because I'm going to show other things. So before that. Oh, there is no question. Sorry.
There's no questions.
Sorry, I didn't hear, but sorry. Okay, so another things that actually exist that also are really interested about that is the composition tree. So now in this example, I'm going to kind of see that how my data has been distributed and how it actually has, again, same kind of the key influencer, but it actually show you that how your data has been decomposed. Again, I'm going to actually use my kind of the apply sum. So life expectancy from if I'm not wrong, it should be this one. And then I'm going, yes. I'm going to check it based on the different continents. And then also I'm going to GDP per capita per US one, US dollar actually in US dollar. And then I just put some of them. So for example, malaria cases, malaria cases change, for example, that we have, if I'm not wrong. Oh, sorry, malaria cases. Okay, so maybe not this one. I can go to the variance analysis, but let me kind of provide, going to kind of adding some other things over here. Okay, so these are the kind of the things that we have over here. There should be more, but you can actually add that one. So this is actually shows the data that we have. So these are the data that we have. We can kind of see the decomposition of the data based on a specific variable. So for example, I click on that for the continent. So I know that the data that I have, for example, about 6% of them is based in Asia, 7%, 5% Africa, and the rest. So this is one type of analysis to see that the life expensive data that you have, how is decomposed between the actually different kind of here. Another way is actually, as you can see here, you want to see that find a field with the highest value for your metrics or has more impact on the life expenses. So if I click on that, is actually, you can see it's based on the continent. Again, I can see the decomposition of the data. So it's going to use, again, some regression analysis to find the highest impact. So similar to the key influencer, so I'm not going to put that much time, just shows the decomposition and find the variable that has most impact on through that. So about the anomaly detection that actually I talked, I hope that I bring the data. Yes, I have the data. So I use a data that has a timestamp and a value for the milk production. And I'm in this in a separate chart because it's totally different context. I'm going to use that one. So the data and the value, and I'm using as a normal data that I have. So this is a kind of example of the anomaly detection that we have over here. In this data, I'm going to kind of find the anomalies, and I put the sensitive to 70%. So as you can see, is able to find 2 anomalies in my data. I can increase the sensitivity to find more. In this data set, I just have to 1. So even if I increase or decrease that one, it doesn't impact that much. Yes, if I kind of decrease that to 22%, it doesn't find it because it's increased the level of the sensitivity of the data. But for example, if I increase it to the 74%, so these are the margin of the data. So if I hover my mouse, it says that the value is 77. The expected value should be 62. Sorry. Is there early morning? Sometimes it's kind of a bit, my voice not really good. So, so what is the expected minimum value should be 55 and the expected maximum is 68. So it's considered actually these 2 points of the data as an anomaly for us. So that's kind of another example of the anomaly detection that we have over here. So these are the kind of the new things that we have over here. We have a kind of we already have a visual that's so similar to that you already worked with that is Q&A visual. So that's also using the natural language processing in Power BI desktop. And if you remember, it actually shows you can ask questions. So for example, I can set, for example, show me the life expectancy by continent and continent. Yep, this one as map. So you already, many of you maybe work with that one as a kind of there is a natural language processing that we have. One of the interesting thing is that you see that there is a blue line over here. So that means that these words has been identified in my data set. So they are blue. But now imagine that instead of the continent, I change it to the something like city. When I change it to the city, you will see that there's actually 2 lines, 2 red line is actually appear here. That means that this field is not kind of recognized by Power BI. So I said, okay, it's not recognizable. So I'm going to teach Q&A about city. So because in our company is actually people refer to, for example, continent as, for example, city or branches or something else. So let me, for example, change it to the branches instead of that, because city is a bit not a good example. I said branch. So instead of continent, we said branch, for example. And I want to actually teach about that one. So I click on the teach Q&A. And when I click on that, is actually is going to kind of find the error that I have. That was branch. And I said branch refer to the continent. So I kind of teach the Q&A that, hey, when I talk about branch means continent. So now is actually, you see that it's become blue. So there is no error through that. And if I back to the here, you see that I actually teach the Q&A that the branch is kind of equal to continent. So this is the kind of the things that we have over here, and you can make it as a visual over here. And if someone else in your company come and change it through that, is actually they can find it. Again, so this is, I can say, replacing the value synonym. Also, we have an adjective. So for example, I said show highest life expensive. It's not there. I can set best. Okay, life expensive in, for example, by continent, for example, by continent. Okay, so when I do that, you see that here I'm actually add the adjective names, name best. So there is an indicator. So here is a bit different from the previous one. In the previous one, actually, I put a synonym for a fields that I have here. But here is actually, I'm going to define that indicator that have, for example, you can find from here, for example, high estimate number of the low, for example, yeah, something like this. This is the definition of the best. So best is actually the adjective that I put for one of my actually attribute over there. And here I'm going actually provide the definition when I said best, what I mean through that. So you can actually write that one, so you can provide some kind of things through that, but you can actually kind of use that one. Okay, so now is actually know what is the best meaning, and actually going to prepare that one, and you can change it to the actually the visual that you like. So this is a kind of the using the NLP one. Beside that, if you back to here, kind of you can see the synonym for, you can kind of include the synonym through them. You can review the question. I don't have it here. It should connect to the kind of to the Power BI service. People have some. Still, you can manage, define the terms that you have. So this one is not a really correct one, so I can delete it and add it again. And also you can ask, suggest question. You can provide some question over here. So this is kind of, we already have that one, but the new thing about teaching the variable is something's coming from natural language processing that's actually available over here. So I'm just going to back to the introduction that we have. So you see the key influencer visual. We have a look on decomposition tree, narrative, forecast, and a bit of kind of anomaly detection. All of them are visual. So now I'm going to actually to Power Query. I'm just going to look at the text analytics and vision analytics that we have over here. Just minimize this one. I'm going to open a new one over here, and I'm going to the Power Query over there. So I have some data in my Blob storage that actually I'm going to get that one. I hope that is work. Okay, so let me first make sure they are working. Sometimes the internet connection doesn't work. Let me sign in. Hope it's accept my sign in. Oh, just a minute. Sorry. There's a normally it should very bad. I remember the email that I'm using for the premium. I don't have the premium. I just use it for here. Let me double check that one. Sorry. Just take a bit minute. I think that I kind of already connected through that one. Then on Power BI or something. Let me check, double check. Sorry. Leila at BI MVPs. That's a really long one. I never able to kind of memorize that, but ooh, hope that. Okay, let me. No, oh, please. Okay, let me try something else. Sorry, just try to remove it and open it again. Yeah, that's me. I hope that doesn't ask me the password. I'm just. So I sign in with my preview. This one, the features that I'm talking is actually on the preview one. So kind of the features that we have through that. Okay. I just try. Yep, please.
Well, I'm concerned about the warnings that should come along with this stuff. And when you show the natural language, I've demonstrated how easy it is to ask something vague and get a crazy answer as opposed to clarify your question. Like a real human being would say, can you clarify that? But the AI will give me something crazy.
Okay, sorry, I didn't understand the question. Can you please repeat again? Sorry.
So with the natural language, it's easy to ask it something vague and get a crazy answer as opposed to a real person that say, hey, I don't understand. Can you say that a different way?
Oh, got it. Yes. Yeah. So it's actually, yeah, that's a good thing. It doesn't have it now, but yes, you're right. So because it's kind of not just a synonym to the kind of not just a synonym to the word, but also synonym to the kind of sentence. That's kind of repeating in a different way, so the audience can understand that one. And that's a good thing, but still doesn't have that one. You just follow the kind of the kind of words, synonym for the words. But yeah, sometimes it's good to have a synonym for the sentence that, hey, this sentence is so kind of vague and I couldn't understand. Repeat it in another way. Not yet, but it's a good idea to have it.
Yeah, just like you did. You had me to clarify my question. But if you were AI, you would have told me something. Woo! It's like, have you been
Yes,
drinking?
exactly. Yeah, that's a kind of the important one. I hope that I'm able to find that one. Some crazy, I forget that. I can fetch it. So it's kind of, I think, let me see that if I can find it. Just give me a second so I can find it. Let me try something else. I hope that means, ooh, finally. Okay, so I'm going to the transfer the data. So having lots of passwords, and that's kind of the sometimes problem. It's going to kind of connect to your API over there on the Power BI service. So that's why it's actually ask you the email. So it's kind of, you need to sign in with your premium account. I hope that it works. Yeah, finally connect through that. Okay, so I'm going to kind of get a data from Blob storage, and then I'm going to apply a vision analysis on that. So what is the vision analysis? Vision analysis actually is going to kind of get your data, and is actually is going to apply a image tagging through your data to kind of find that one. So I'm going to kind of, let me kind of delete the one that I have over here. And I'm going to kind of get the data first. So I'm going to, I'm already kind of going to get the data. From Blob storage. Azure Blob storage. So is actually, I need to provide the link to the Blob storage, and it's going actually to connect me to the kind of the URL that I have. So this is my Blob storage that I have through that. So I'm going through the provide the link to the Blob storage. I think it was that one, and that was, I put it in the folder name image. So these are the pictures that I have. So yeah, so I'm going to, for example, copy one of them over here. So it's connecting to my Blob storage. Is asking me about the link. So here, if I back here, so there is an access key. I'm going to copy that one. I hope that this connects. Sometimes the connection doesn't work properly. Let me check. Yep, so these are the images that I have. There I've just uploaded 4 images. So these are the images. They are in binary format. I just need that one. I don't need the other, so I remove other columns. So these are the images that I have over here. So there is an option of the vision analysis that able to going and analyze the what is actually exists in the image over here, and it's available on the premium capacity. And you see that actually I'm logging to the premium, so that's why it's actually identify me as a premium user. It's take a bit long to connect through that, but you see that there is a function that actually tag images, and is actually ask me which column I'm going to apply. So the only column that I have is content, and I'm going to actually to apply through that. So I said, yep, that's public, it's all good. Let me, for the first time is actually I ask you, I removed the previous one. So it's going to actually to show me through that. So it's kind of, you can get your data from different places and you can apply through that. If you bring your data from other resources, my data was in Blob storage, but you can have your data importing from other resources in a binary format and you can have it. So here is actually, it kind of shows me what is can see in that images. So for example, it can see tree, outdoor, and the other. I wish that I can show you the original picture, but kind of is a bit couldn't show it here, but we'll show you later on. So it actually shows what it can see in each picture. So for example, it can see tree with this confidence, outdoor, building, wooden, stone, and the other thing over here. Let me see that if I can see it from here, but I am not sure that we can have it through here. We need to upload it here to see that. So this is a kind of the one of them. Let me see that if I can show you from over here, that what is actually the pictures that we have over there. So for example, this one, if I download the picture just to show you one of them. So it's actually a kind of the area that we have in our house. So is kind of, is kind of showing the tree, outdoor, wooden, stone, wood, garden, and deck. And you can see it's actually that one. So it's kind of able to extract what it can see in that picture. So this is one of them. And I'm going to kind of finalize it with the last one, that is text analytics. I'm going to get a data. I think it should be CSV file. Let me double check through that. No, it's Excel file. So I'm going to bring a hotel review, and I want to analyze that one via text analytics. So another features that again comes at the premium feature that we have is text analytics, that able to kind of extract the what is the main point of the text. Maybe the one that we talk about, that's kind of what is the main point of the user, what is the user is happy or not. We can actually look at that. So you can see that here, for example, I have some sentence about the hotel, that the suite was awesome. We didn't have much interaction with the staff. So these are the comments that people actually put for the hotel. I'm going to actually apply text analytics through that. Again, these services comes from cognitive services and use the kind of natural language processing approach through them to find what's customer is happy, what is the main point of each sentence, and the kind of the other important things. So here I'm going to score the sentiment, or to see that how much a customer is happy or not about ourselves. So it's give me a number between 0 to 1. Close to 1 means customer really happy. Close to 0 means customer not really happy about our products. So I'm going to apply that one, and let's take a bit while. It shouldn't be, because it's a kind of the first time it's going to connect and verify my information. So for the first time, it actually is impact. So let me just keep kind of keep the title and just keep the comment and remove other things, so we can see better kind of what is happening here. So the first sentence was actually I was not made aware of the extra daily filling, and you can see the sentiment is actually 0.08. That means the customer is really unhappy. Or for example, this one, and that's a customer was really happy, is a decent place to stay. Each unit has that one, and is really actually a happy customer with 0. That means 80% happiness. So it's kind of give you that how a customer are happy or unhappy about product. Besides that, you want to extract, so yes, we have the title of the email, but sometimes we want to extract the main point of that email. For example, it's a long email or it's a long sentence, and we want to see what is the main keywords of that sentence, of that text. So there is a keyword extraction that actually can help us through that. So key phrase actually one. And the text, actually, column name should be the guest comment. You can provide the language if it's in different language. This column is actually optional. By default, it's English, but if you have a column that specifies the language code, so you can use that. For this scenario, I don't use it because it's English over here. There are a list. If you search for the list of the language that's supported for text analytics, there are some. So I know that it's supported for Spanish, French, and many others. And some of the language still is in preview. That means they come very soon. So let's see the last one actually to see the extract the key phrase. So it's actually give the two for the each sentence. It actually shows you both the actually for the each word. So you see that is actually kind of extract the each word in kind of the separate one or as a one. So it's kind of showing you the what is the main point of the each customer. So this kind of the still there are some other features that due the time I'm not going to talk about them. I just show you the kind of the some of them that's kind of very visual and easy to access. We have Azure ML one. That's actually I need to go to the Azure ML. That's needs to be interaction between the data science team and of course the Power BI team. So if you have two teams that one of them create the machine learning there, we can talk about that. But for now, that's actually I'm skip that one. That's it needs a separate session talking about that, and that's how it works. So these are the kind of the new things that we have over here. Some of them exist for a year or more. Some of them very new, and still some of them are preview. So yeah, so any question?
Leila, Christian asking the following question. He says that have you used much the Power Query AI features? Do you know whether they are available in PPU and not only in Premium? That is
these two. You mean the using the AI features in the Pro or Premium? Am I right?
Yes, Power Query AI features. Yes.
Okay, so yes, for example, for text analytics, you can actually write some code in Power Query. I have some example through that I can share here. Yes, you can actually, so these things is actually using the Microsoft Cognitive Services. So here, you yourself can actually create an account in Cognitive Services. So I said Microsoft Cognitive Services, that's one. So it's actually, so another way is you going and use the kind of the Microsoft Cognitive Services here. And you can actually, for example, we have a text one, for example, the text analytics. You can actually going and kind of get a free account for them and get the API and then use that inside the Power Query. Yes, there are some code. Unfortunately, I didn't show it here. But if you have a Pro, still you can kind of write some code to connect to the cognitive services or to the vision or even connect to the Azure ML and consume the data. There is two things. When you use the Premium, is actually the cost of the cognitive services has been included in that. But if you use your own cognitive services, you need to pay for that one.
Okay. He also asks that, can you give us a hint on what artificial intelligence feature is announcing Microsoft MSFT on MBAS?
MBAS, okay.
Yes.
For the Business Application Summit, that's actually happening now. Is kind of, I'm looking also for that one. So there are some new features they coming. I know I couldn't mention some of them now, but this actually kind of they going kind of to announce it soon, some of them. And I as I can says that you see that we have actually lots of kind of visual for the AI type. So it's actually they are going to bring more visual, but I couldn't actually mention because that's a kind of the announcement through there. So please tune through them.
Leila, I have also one simple question, but however, I will ask this question. Sometimes it's not possible to extract information from website because the information is not in table format. So is there any way to extract this kind of information from web?
Okay, so you mean that it doesn't it doesn't work through the web and also not through the similar one? To be honest, I never tried into Power BI recently. I don't have a scenario through that. It should be web crawling through that. Need to check. To be honest, I never try when they are not in the table format. I always use when they are in the table format, but there should be a web crawling. I can check that one. That's a good question.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Please. I will be very happy if I have this kind of opportunity. Okay.
No, I will definitely check that one. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And also, Sayat, before I ask it, talking about Power Query AI Builder.
AI Builder. AI Builder in Power Apps.
In Power Query.
We have AI Builder in Power Apps. We are here AI Insight, actually. So which one you mean?
He means Power Query. He said Power Query AI Builder.
We have AI Insight. So yeah, so this one. Yeah, we have AI Insight. Yep. Okay, so what's the question?
Question, he is asking you to talk about it.
So yes, I talk about AI Insight inside Power Query. So we call it AI Insight. AI Builder is something in Power Apps and Power Automate. So they are kind of the different things. Both of them use the cognitive services, but AI Insight is actually just have text analytics, vision, and Azure ML. And also in the service, if I connect through that, we have the automated ML through that. They can use it. But AI Builder is something in Power Apps that has totally different features.
Okay, that was okay, he says. So we have no question for now.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Cool. So thanks so much. This is a very brief kind of introduction on what we have. So if you have any question about things, just email me. I will share the data through here. For the Blob storage, I need to check that can you access through that because it's my personal Blob storage. But I will check that one. But for the rest, I will share the file with you, Ilgar, in for tomorrow, definitely. So after that, you can share it with others.
Okay, in next 2 days, I will send all the necessary information to the registered attendees. I really appreciate your effort, your contribution. I know it's 5 a.m. early morning, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. Thanks so much. It's my pleasure.
Okay, thank you. But yeah. Okay.
Thank you. I just stopped my sharing, so
yes, I'm also just going